He's so goddamn good. He's so protected. He knows where to be and where not to be. He's so composed. Like, look at that. Look at that movement. Look how he moves away from everything. So you're punching at air, and you're still threatening, but you're not really hitting him, and he's making you throw punches. And occasionally you clip him with a shot as he's moving away, and he rolls with a lot of shit.
Adjust to or get used to with Pacquiao in the ring?
I mean, nobody fights like him. It's he's different, very difficult to prepare for. It took Marquez 4 fights to figure him out. You know, and Marquez is one of the fastest thinkers in the game. And it's just such a difficult guy to zone in on. I always felt like just as I was getting my crosshairs on him, he would change his rhythm.
Joe Rogan was shocked after seeing Manny Pacquiao in training camp looking sharp and dangerous ahead of a potential rematch with Floyd Mayweather, stating that Floyd spent years staying away from a fight while Pacquiao continued getting older. Yet, he still remained a serious threat.
Right.
And
Mayweather just did such a smart thing, but also a devious thing. Waiting until Pacquiao was older, waiting until he slowed down, and then...
Devious is not illegal in boxing.
It's encouraged.
Yeah. In any entrepreneurial sport, devious is not illegal.
No.
Devious can be an asset.
That's how you retire.
Roy Jones Jr. has noted that many fighters in today's boxing era do not depend on genuine footwork the way previous generations did. However, he continues to praise Manny Pacquiao for preserving world-class movement and ring mobility, recognizing his ability to perform at an elite standard despite the changes seen throughout the modern sport.
Right. Man is always on the move. You understand me? What has happened in boxing is a lot of people have lost the art of footwork. Right. You understand me? Not many people have footwork. So if you see a guy go out and box like you'll never see in today's time too often, a guy go out and box like Sugar Ray Leonard boxed Marvin Hagler. Right. He moved around, he fought when it was time, he moved when it was time. He understood how to use the whole ring to get a victory. Now guys don't do that. Pac-Man, fortunately, is one of those guys who knows how to use the ring. So he don't stand in just one place and fight. With that being said, if he...
Roy Jones Jr. further explained that Pacquiao's opportunity to come out on top depends largely on whether his legs can hold up throughout all 12 rounds, as endurance and movement will play a major role in the outcome. He added that in today's boxing landscape, and considering the type of fighter Manny has always been, if Pacquiao is able to maintain his pace and make it through the full 12 rounds, he believes Manny will end up winning the fight.
Both stamina.
Nowadays with how things go, and with Manny being who Manny is, if Manny can get to 12 rounds, Manny gonna win the fight. If Burns can hurt Manny early in the fight and not let him go 12 rounds, he might have a chance. But Manny has one of the bigger outputs for any fighter of any era. Right. He's a guy that don't mind throwing 3 and 4 and 5 punches at a time. He's not one of those guys that won't throw 4 or 5 punches if he see it. You understand me? So that being said, the only concern I have is how will his legs hold up? Right. Because if his legs hold up,
Chris Algieri described Manny Pacquiao as an extremely difficult opponent because of his diverse skill set and unpredictable timing, explaining that whenever he felt he had Pacquiao figured out and lined up his sights, Manny would suddenly alter his rhythm and make adjustments that disrupted his entire game plan. Pacquiao continues to display exceptional hand speed and footwork inside the ring, combining quick combinations, explosive movement, and outstanding reflexes that highlight his world-class ability. Justin Fortune, Manny Pacquiao's longtime trainer, has made it clear that their team is fully prepared if a rematch with Floyd Mayweather becomes a reality. Fortune argued that one of the biggest issues with evaluating Mayweather is that in his view, he has spent years competing against opponents who are not at the highest level, noting that several of them had already suffered multiple defeats. In contrast, Fortune emphasized that Pacquiao has consistently taken on top champions throughout his career and never avoided difficult challenges. He also stated that he believed Manny deserved a victory in his most recent bout and feels Pacquiao should currently be holding a world title.
On him, he would change his rhythm. He's a very rhythmic fighter. He used broken rhythm very, very well. And yeah, adjustments on the fly, which is what I think all the best fighters in the world do. All the top guys I fought made fast adjustments along the way. So yeah, Manny's he's special, as is Floyd.
His power, where did it rank among the fighters that you faced?
Not the hardest, but also very hard. You know, Keith Thurman famously said he's got bricks for hands. It's very true. So you get bricks for hands plus fast hands, plus punches you don't see, makes him a very dangerous puncher. But he wouldn't say he was the hardest. Ruslan hit, I believe, way harder. Huge crunching power. But in terms of a guy with fast hands who has hard hands, but also punches from angles that are hard to see, very, very dangerous.
Kind of dangerous. He's facing Ruslan before this Pacquiao.
Depending on how real that fight is, and depending on what size gloves they're wearing, depending on what kind of discussion they have prior to the
Abel Sanchez shared his thoughts on a possible rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, expressing little enthusiasm for the idea and arguing that both fighters are far removed from their prime years. He questioned the purpose of revisiting the matchup, believing that the outcome of their first meeting already settled the debate surrounding their rivalry. According to Sanchez, the event would undoubtedly attract major interest and produce substantial revenue, but it would no longer represent boxing at its highest level. He noted that Pacquiao has always been a difficult opponent because of his unusual and hard-to-handle style, although he is unsure how much of that advantage still exists at this point in Manny's career. Sanchez also observed that Mayweather is no longer at his peak either, which could reduce the difference between them and potentially improve Pacquiao's chances compared to the first fight. He further criticized how late the rematch is being discussed, arguing that the contest carried far greater competitive significance when both men were still at their physical best. In his opinion, the delayed timing is what ultimately weakened the matchup's true value. Nevertheless, he gave credit to both fighters for remaining open to the possibility of facing each other again, despite the challenges and risks that come with it.
Mayweather challenged his record by fighting basically no one's in the last 4 or 5 fights. How those fights even got sanctioned is unbelievable. So, you know, whereas Pacquiao's never dodged anybody. He's 4 champions.
I thought Manny won his last fight. He should have been champion right now.
That's right.
But Mayweather's going to put his record on the line. September 19 at the Sphere in Vegas. What happens, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather? Mayweather's putting the 50-0 on the line. It's not an exhibition.
I guess I think Manny wins.
What would that mean if Manny gave Floyd his first loss?
What would that mean to Floyd? I don't know.
What would it mean to Manny?
You're right. Well, we just sort of, the last time we fought Floyd, his shoulder was all messed up, so it might have been a different outcome.
Abel Sanchez referenced other fighters, including Terry Norris, as an example of a boxer who continued to grow after experiencing defeat. He argued that a loss can sometimes remove mental barriers, helping a fighter improve and reach a higher level than before. He also brought up Gennady Golovkin, explaining that waiting until an opponent has begun to decline can significantly alter the competitive dynamic and make it harder to accurately evaluate what happens inside the ring. Looking at the situation as a whole, he considers the potential matchup to be more of a business-driven event than a genuine test of elite boxing ability. He emphasized that as fighters get older, remaining at the sport's highest standard becomes increasingly difficult, especially in a game that is constantly changing and advancing.
You like it or not? No.
Not me. I think that's just like some of the. Although Jake has proven to be helping a lot of our fighters, a lot of our girl fighters, but I think that that fight's gone, and they already have one. We don't need another one. If they want to do it for entertainment for the fans, that's great. Good money for them. But as far as a real thing, no.
So, Someone told me this. It's a boxing person, and I asked him like, "Hey, what do you think about the fight?" And he asked me like, "Well, what do you think?" I'm like, "Well, that style, like it's always been hard for Manny, like always, and I don't know what he can do now at this age that gives him an advantage in that." And he told me like, "Look, Floyd's a lot older. I think now is the best chance that Manny has."
Paulie Malignaggi shared his opinion on a potential rematch between
Through hell.
Floyd Mayweather
And the only time
Manny
he spent with
Pacquiao,
his father was when he
noting
was
that
at
both
the gym.
fighters are approaching 50 years of age and suggesting that contests at this point are often fueled more by name recognition and fan interest than by competitive significance. He also revealed that he would be interested in facing the winner, explaining that his involvement in bare-knuckle boxing has kept him active and motivated while he continues exploring a return to professional boxing. Malignaggi stated that his immediate focus is on taking care of business one fight at a time, with his attention centered on capturing a BKB title on May 16th, a result he believes could create opportunities for bigger matchups down the road. He reflected on sharing the same boxing generation as both Mayweather and Pacquiao, pointing out that despite competing during the same era, he never had the opportunity to step into the ring with either man. He also observed that experienced former champions frequently prefer facing opponents from their own generation rather than challenging younger fighters who are in fresher condition. Concluding his remarks, Malignaggi encouraged fans to pay attention to how Mayweather and Pacquiao perform at this stage of their careers, while maintaining that his own skills and sharpness have aged better than what he saw from Pacquiao in the recent bout against Mario Barrios.
Why didn't they do it 3 years before the first one? Why are they doing it now? Do it when it matters. Just like Boots, when you're talking about Boots and Xander, that's perfect. I give all the credit to both guys for taking that chance. Taking that chance because unfortunately today, the zero on your record is so important. So important to everybody, the networks, the managers, the promoters. And you become a better fighter, as Fundora has. You become a better fighter once you taste defeat because that monkey's off your back. You're not protecting anything. Terry Norris became a better fighter after he got knocked out by Julian Jackson. Why? Because the chip came off his shoulder and he started to do things that we needed to do in the gym to become better. I think that they should have fought 3 years, 4 years before they did fight. And it would have been talking about the second one back then I would have been okay with it. Because
Chris Algieri offered his perspective on a possible rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, emphasizing that both men have spent the last several years competing only sparingly and suggesting that the main motivation behind such a fight would likely be financial. Even so, he does not see that as a problem, believing the event would not interfere with the progress of other fighters and could actually help keep activity and interest flowing within the sport. Algieri also remarked that a major part of the appeal would come from nostalgia, as the matchup would remind fans of the remarkable careers and lasting impact that both Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather have had on boxing.
And the only time he spent with his father.
Pacquiao are fighting again in a rematch. Yeah. Both almost 50, if not 50. I want to say they're right around 50 years old.
Yeah, man. Let's see what at this point in time, whatever's popular, if they fight, they fight. I mean, listen, I don't know where the winner goes. I'll tell you what, I'd love a chance to fight the winner. I've been active. I've been fighting in bare knuckle. Looking to, see if there's an interest for me back in glove boxing, but I have to. I think if I win this BKB title on May 16th, it's one fight at a time. I don't overlook anybody, but if I will be able to get a result there, I think I put myself in a good position to possibly get an attractive glove offer as well. So, if they're gonna fight each other, I was in their generation as well. I didn't get to fight any of them. I don't know that they'd want to fight any of the younger guys. I think Pacquiao had a chance against Barrios. Barrios probably the weak link in the welterweight division. There's probably no other weak links left. So I think that, you probably want to stay in that older guy lane. That's why I come into play. We'll see.
Promoter Jazz Mathers rejected the idea that a rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao would simply be a nostalgia-based exhibition, instead portraying it as a worldwide event capable of generating enormous interest from both a business and competitive standpoint. He reflected on their original clash, which was promoted as the fight of the century, and went on to produce more than $600 million in overall revenue, including over $410 million from pay-per-view purchases, making it one of the most lucrative events in boxing history, following years of anticipation. Mathers highlighted that Pacquiao has remained active as a competitor, while Mayweather continues to follow a highly disciplined lifestyle and demanding training routine despite nearing 50 years of age, reinforcing his view that both men still operate at an impressive level. He also praised Mayweather's long-standing professionalism, arguing that his dedication to preparation and natural talent have not diminished over time. In Mathers' assessment, both fighters remain in excellent condition and have the ability to deliver a more entertaining performance than they did in their first meeting.
Two legends / two old men who are fighting each other. You know, they haven't been very active. It's a big money grab. I'm going to say it like this. I don't hate it, right? Because the division is actually moving. It's not like they're fighting for a title and keeping guys out of the way. They're fighting each other. They both make a lot of money. And it's going to bring so much nostalgia for both of their careers in the build-up. For those 2 months where we're leading up to Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2, all we're going to do is watch, and talk about their fights. And I love that. I love that idea because I think they're two stalwarts in our sport. And in terms of them fighting each other, I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to put on a barn-burning performance, especially when they're damn near 50. But I don't know. I'm not super.
Jazz Mathers went on to explain that the event is being planned as a large-scale production supported by an experienced professional team, substantial financial backing, and advanced sports entertainment features suited for a venue such as the Sphere. Addressing the criticism surrounding the fight, he stated that opposing viewpoints are natural but do not lessen the importance of the occasion. According to him, the magnitude of the investment involved, together with the remarkable careers of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, makes the matchup far more significant than an ordinary contest. He believes the rematch symbolizes the return of two boxing icons to one of the sport's biggest stages, making it a meaningful chapter in boxing history. He also maintained that both men appear to be in better condition than many critics are willing to
And the only
acknowledge.
time he spent with...
You're behind it. You're orchestrating this thing. You know, Netflix, all that. Could this be the biggest fight that's ever been streamed?
I mean, I'd say huge is an understatement. I mean, let's look at the first fight, right? Fight of the century. Generated over $600 million in total revenue, over $410 million in pay-per-view. So you're talking about a spectacle. You're talking about a one-off, something that people have wanted to see for a decade plus since the first one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome. There'll be sports entertainment in boxing for the first time ever at the Sphere. So it's going to be great.
Well, I you know, recently we saw Manny in the ring. You know, he's been active.
Yeah.
Floyd's been doing some stuff, but it's like, you know, the other type of stuff, you know, not like serious. That was a section.
Floyd's Floyd. Listen, Floyd's Floyd. Don't get it twisted. 50-0. Floyd's Floyd.
Right.
Floyd does this in his sleep.
Jordan Andes believes that Manny Pacquiao's continued activity in the ring has allowed him to maintain his timing, reflexes, and overall endurance at a high level. According to Andes, regularly competing has helped Pacquiao stay in fighting form and preserve the rhythm that becomes increasingly valuable as a contest moves into the later rounds. By comparison, he pointed to Floyd Mayweather's extended absence from competitive action, suggesting that such a lengthy period away from the ring could impact timing, sharpness, and physical readiness. In his assessment, Pacquiao's recent experience has kept him comfortable with high-pressure moments, reading opponents, and making adjustments during a fight, factors that could work in his favor if the matchup reaches the championship rounds and requires Mayweather to depend heavily on his defense, toughness, and stamina.
You know what? They're both in excellent shape. That's why this fight is what everybody wants to see. You know, I will tell you one thing. We're gonna notice something better from their last fight because they're both on their A game. These two, they age backwards.
Well, look, you know, I saw other promoters. I think Dana was jumping on this conversation too.
Listen,
what do you think?
I think here's what I think.
He kind of had some words.
I'm gonna stop you there. Everyone has words. You know, a lot of people are hating on this. A lot of people are saying things. A lot of people are entitled to their own opinion. But as I said in the beginning, we're looking at. Of course, it's going to be expensive. Why wouldn't it be expensive?
At the Sphere. It's
Well,
supposed to be
it'll be
extra
expensive anyway.
expensive.
It should be beyond expensive. Look at the names we have. We got Mayweather and we got Pacquiao. We're looking at how much money is coming in. We're not looking at how much money is going out. It's not like there were 3 of us sitting across the table with napkins and writing, oh, let's go.
Sean Porter offered a measured perspective on a potential matchup between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr., arguing that the attention surrounding the fight may exceed its true competitive significance. He explained that while the event is being promoted as a landmark occasion, the reality becomes more complicated when examined without emotion. Porter acknowledged that Pacquiao remains one of boxing's all-time greats, but noted that he is no longer operating at the level that defined his prime years.
How long?
Damn. Yo.
When the last time you fought?
He's been doing the exhibition. Fort.
So when was the last? We're gonna say when was the last exhibition? What was it, 10-rounder or 8-rounder?
I don't know. He been stopping everybody.
Yeah. So I'm saying I don't think he going.
It might have been like Gotti. Is that the one?
And what was he doing? Was he boxing or was he walking in down?
Yo, honestly, when I seen him against the Japanese dude, he had his high guard and he was just walking forward.
That's what I'm saying. He older now. He ain't gonna be doing too much moving. He gonna be sharp and he gonna make Pacquiao run into something or some sharp calm. Like, watch.
Oh, so you think this ends in a stoppage?
It's a possibility, yo. I ain't even gonna lie.
Sean Porter observed that only flashes of that former dominance appear in recent performances. He also pointed to Mayweather's lengthy time away from serious competition, emphasizing that such inactivity makes it challenging to judge his current form, fitness, and readiness for a high-level contest. Porter added that boxing is ultimately a sport where athletes can suffer real physical consequences, and because of those risks, many people naturally view these kinds of fights through a different lens.
And because there are some ailments that you could encounter because of it being a hurt business, people look at it differently. And I'm encouraging people, when you do see a fighter retire and then come back, don't jump to the conclusion that fighter is broke. Don't jump to the conclusion that fighter don't know what else to do with their lives. Understand that fighter has put in countless hours and days and years, upwards to the 30 and 40. And when that person says, I'm going back to work, that's essentially what they're doing. They're just going back to work. Can't be too mad at it.
I think the main thing, I don't know how much people are mad and hate Manny, but Floyd's whole persona was, I print money. I'm bigger than the dollar.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
I got a private jet. I got a house here, mansion here. Everything was money. And people watch Floyd for majority of his career for him to lose.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you lost all that money. People just want to see him Floyd lose because of the persona he built up.